between the races. We've come a long ways. But it's my opinion that we still have a long ways to go. Within the next 2 years, we can talk about technology and we can talk about what we would like to see come to Madison. But I don't believe that one person can do it by himself. It's going to take our city, our county, and each of us working together to make Madison what we want it to continue to be. Madison has enjoyed many successful programs over the last several years, including historic preservation, housing improvements, Silver Lake housing improvements, grant, corridor commercial, development, and overlay guidelines. Additional parks and green space, Town Park, Gilbert Park, and Lambert Park. And as we look at these parks, we want to build something structural for our young people. So as we talk about our millennials coming back into Madison, we have to have something to offer young couples to come back with young families to live here. And for them to live here, we have to have something to provide for them. And the first thing we need to do is to decide what kind of job do we want here in our city that will keep our young families here.
That's your time, sir.
Afloat.
Robert?
I believe that Madison has a very weak mayor form of government. This government was put into place by a very strong mayor that served here for a number of years. In that fact, he left a caretaker individual to run this government who has done a good job of being a caretaker. I talked to Mayor Perriman on the square here one day and told him I'm not running against him. I am running for the job because I feel like that I have the experience, the expertise, the knowledge, and understanding of government and business to do a good job of providing leadership for the city council, to be able to work with the city council and cooperate with the county. There has to be good cooperation between the county and the city council. As a mayor who would be strong and work with the members of the council to bring them together to continue to deal with the issues that I feel like are here. But there are some things that are just clearly not good here. Almost every board here has conflicts of interest. If you come to these meetings, you see one or two people almost invariably step up and leave because they have a conflict of interest. This needs to be stopped, people. This is not good. This is not something that will work for the benefit of the city in the long term. We do need to deal with the truck traffic situation, and I'll address that more when we get down to question number 4. But given the opportunity, I will be a strong individual to represent you on the city council.
There's your time. Thank you.
In the mayor's job.
Thank you. Kathy?
I can tell you, when I look at Madison today, I always think it's just perfect. But I know it isn't perfect. I know that we have a lot of problems that seem to come up at various times with various subjects that we do not handle or we do not transition well. Neighbor against neighbor. It seems like the arguing between the county and the city is endless, and it's wrong. And we have to do better because we will not be better in 10 years if we don't clean house. If we don't figure out what needs to be done to make us ethical and above board, all of our meetings, all of our individuals who serve on our commissions and our boards, these should not be lifetime appointments. I believe in term limits for all commission members. The HBC in particular, two-year terms, I think is more than adequate. It gives other people who live in the historic district an opportunity to serve. And of course, that's exactly what the Historic Preservation Commission is designed to do. It's designed to give everyone who lives in the historic district an opportunity to serve. I will tell you that we have to stop saying no. We have to stop saying no to new business. Just because one person in the city doesn't like something, doesn't mean that that business couldn't be a viable, good addition to the city of Madison. And that's a slippery slope if you've never had a job. If you've never had a job outside of government, if you've never owned a business and you've never met an overhead, and if you've never had to meet a payroll, you probably don't know what businesses might work and might not. And that's their decision. When they decide to come to Madison, we need to say, yes, you can. Thank you.
Thank you. It's apparent y'all are going to prevaricate, but I'm going to ask the questions once anyway, so at least we can start. We're going to start with Robert. A recent comprehensive plan for future growth identified affordable housing, reuse of the hospital property and Morgan County Middle School property, all as candidates for future development. Do you agree? If so, how would you prioritize the need? If not, why not?
I do agree.
Pardon me. I do agree that with the comprehensive plan, by and large, the middle school is certainly an issue that needs to be dealt with. In DeKalb County, I served on the liaison committee between the county commission and the Board of Education. We were able to work together with them and be able to provide uses for the community to use in schools that were closed for whatever reason. That is a talent that I have developed and worked with these people, and we were able to solve many, many problems in doing so. The hospital is a property that can certainly be put back on the tax rolls by bringing in strong business, high-tech type businesses, biomedical businesses, or even a retirement home or a convalescent center. Any of those would be uses that would improve the tax base of the city and work to relieve the taxes on the individual homeowners. In regards to the affordable housing, there are lots available here in town in walking distance of the square that would be ideal for development. The lots across the street from the Silver Lake development are lots that could be built on, but for whatever reason, the owner of those lots are not. While he evidently is a builder, he's not building on them. Let me excuse me.
That's your time.
Thank you.
Kathy?
My thought on affordable housing is that in order to grow a community, you have to have a residential area. You have to have lower income residential environments. You also have to have retirement. And I've discussed this before with several people in the community, and just happened to have 45 extraordinary women from the Del Webb community in Greensboro yesterday at the tea room. And I go back to years ago when I was having dinner with the chairman of Pulte, and we were in a discussion of how important it would be to build something like retirement community like Del Webb in Morgan County. And of course, that would be a perfect development for us. I also believe that in affordable housing, I think that all people should be entitled to own a house. And I see people that are so close, but there isn't anything that they can tap into because our houses are so expensive. And we need to talk to our realtors and include our realtors. They have all of the information that we need to help make good decisions for Madison and to bring newer and better housing to Madison for them, so that in fact they will move to this community. Our schools are exemplary. They're fantastic. Our new hospital, when it's built, and I certainly hope that they can keep that at $35 million. But of course, I'm not sure that that's going to happen. But still, imagine that we have the best schools, we have the best hospitals, and the best communities. I think that working together would be wonderful for Madison.
Thank you. Fred?
I think first of all, we have to ask ourselves, what are affordable houses? For some, an affordable house is $350,000. For some, an affordable house is $500,000. For others, an affordable house is a price of $150,000 or less. And yet for others, a one-room motel for $100 a week. So we continue to ask ourselves, when are we going to get to the place where we quit fussing and fighting about how big our houses are and start being concerned about those who can't afford a house to live in? We spend so much time arguing about the big house we live in, but we're never concerned about the hotel room that some of our people are still living in. Bringing our hospital, our middle school together, we have a slogan, one Morgan. And if Morgan is one Morgan, now is the time to revamp the hospital, revamp the middle school, and let's bring this community together with peace, love, and joy, and quit fussing and fighting over things that we don't have to fuss and fight about.
Thank you. Next question, we're going to start with Kathy. Short of having a consolidated government, how can you ensure cooperation between the City of Madison and the Morgan County Board of Commissioners and other government agencies?
Well, I think the answer to that is communication, because I can tell you, I've worked with the county since I came here 8 years ago on every one of my buildings. Every one of my building permits has been through the County Building Inspections Office. I see Mr. Donald Harris in the room, in the back of the room, and I can tell you, it is a pleasure to work with the county commissioners. They are forward-thinking, they are bright, they are energetic, and somehow they have all of Morgan County in their crosshairs. They know where they're going, they know what they're doing, and quite frankly, as I said, a pleasure to work with. I would also suggest that that kind of cooperation extends out to the state, GDOT, and the state of Georgia, the feds. I mean, federal government has as much to do with Madison as anybody else. But we have to continue the dialogue, and we have to be sure that we include the citizens so that we can understand what it is that we need to do as a community, and then, of course, move forward.
Thank you. Brad?
Over the years, Madison and Morgan County have enjoyed cooperation in many areas, such as recreation, industrial development, utility expansion, provision of services such as building permits, inspections, emergency dispatch, 911, and that's just to name a few. And I just want those of you who are in this room tonight to know that the City of Madison and the Morgan County Board of Commission has a great working relationship. Just because we don't always agree on one issue means that we are at odds with each other all the time. I'd like to make another note. Sometimes when a newcomer comes to this city, they bring trouble with them. And if you bring trouble with you, trouble will stay here until you get yourself right. So what I'm saying tonight is, if you want Madison to be the place that you want it to be, then you need to join in and work with the team instead of working against the team. We're all one Morgan. We're all one Morgan. We are here for the same thing. We're here for the same reason. So let's quit fighting and arguing, and let's do the job that we have been sent to do. Let's serve the people here and our community. It's not a one-man show. It's not about power. It's not about money. It's about integrity. It's about experience. And it's about leadership. So let's work together and move in that direction.
Thank you. Robert?
Well, since you have brought up the question of consolidation of government, maybe it is time for Madison and Morgan County to look at that and even consider that. That is something that certainly could be given to the people to decide. It's not a matter that the government ought to make that decision. that is required to go through a referendum of the people. And there's nothing ever wrong with carrying matters that are important to the people to vote on and let them make decisions such as that. But it is imperative for the city and the county to work together. I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I do not see it nearly as easy as you do that everything is going so great here. The fact is that every city and county surrounding Morgan and Madison is not only doing better, some of them are doing considerably better than things are going here in Madison and Morgan County. It will take a pro-business attitude to change that, and that's what has to happen on this within the mayor's seat and on the city council for us to be able to move Madison and Morgan County forward. That is just not being done, not at the state level or here in the community even. I hear nothing but complaints about the trouble that people have who try to come here and open a business, and they find that the obstructions are so much and that they literally turn around and leave and say, I'm not coming back because I cannot work with the staff in the city of Madison.
Thank you. Next question. Start with Fred. There have been complaints about truck traffic through downtown Madison for the last 30 years. How can you get those trucks off the street without impairing commerce, and how would your solution be funded?
To be perfectly honest, this problem has no easy solution. We cannot, as much as we wish to do so to force trucks to use alternative routes around this city. GDOT was in this room, I believe, earlier this year. They talked to all of us, citizens in our community, about trucks coming through our city. And GDOT officials made it clear to city officials that trucks have every right to use state and federal highways, which included Main Street. Ms. Russell, you was in the room when they made that announcement that night. So, here's a solution such as the newly constructed west side bypass are dependent upon state funding. And those funding must come from the city as well as our state. The city nor the county has $40 million to build a bypass or pay for a bypass. The truck route conversation must begin with the elected county commission, with the city council on board, and then with people like you in this room. What it appalls me though, all of a sudden, my opponent here has been in Madison for 17 years, has never came to a city council meeting, has never came to a county commission meeting and said, I have the solution for the truck traffic in town. If he had the solution where he came from, why did he bring that solution to us so we could have all sat around the same table and talk about it? He don't have a solution now. He will not have the solution tomorrow. We cannot stop traffic from coming through downtown Madison. We can put signs up, but we cannot stop those trucks.
That's your time.
Federal Street.
Okay. Robert?
It's interesting you give 2 minutes to solve a 30-year-old problem. I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. I have done this task before, and I am capable of doing it again. In Lithonia, Georgia, when I was on the Board of Commissioners in DeKalb County, we had virtually the same problem. Today, there's a bypass there. It was done by cooperation with the State Department of Transportation, the Federal Highway Administration, the federal government through funding out of FHWA. We were able to get a property owner to donate the right-of-way for the road, and we built a very fine alternate route for heavy truck traffic going through Lithonia. It can be done here. But when you take the attitude that just because it is a state road and they pay state taxes, there has to be other